I'm Sam Castor. We're here on Lex Lumina with the incredible, iconic Valeria Gurr, who has been the champion for school choice, the iconic voice for children and their ability to choose where they go and receive light and truth and gain educational wisdom. And we're so excited that you're here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. You're a leader in the community, and it's been fascinating to me to watch because Vegas is so diverse, but there's an incredible Hispanic community here that I love. It's just so powerful, so focused on family, so focused on education, and really an incredible movement now in Las Vegas, which is fantastic from my perspective. And she's also an advocate for children and an advocate for school choice.
Yes.
And the voucher program are different vehicles to get there. And so we're excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
And to talk to you about all the things that you care about. And we always ask everyone on this podcast 3 questions. What's your why? What do you believe? And what do you do that creates light?
That's amazing. I'm excited. I also have like deep admiration for you, Sam. I've been watching you from outside, like what you're doing to help children with disabilities mean the world to the Hispanic community. And, to me as an advocate, there's so much to do there.
Yes.
And very little leadership often.
There is,
So we need more groups like you and people that actually is educated and have the knowledge to help kids and to get involved. So thank you for the work you do too.
My pleasure. We want to do more. In fact, we've been building on our team of folks that speak Spanish to make sure that we can do more to help, because I think a lot of people don't understand their rights and they don't understand how they actually can control the educational environment for their children. They have a lot more influence on it than they think they do. So
correct.
So tell me about how you got involved in this process. And I know you have a cool story about how you used to work for the teachers union, the local teachers union, and you used to be on the other side, and now you're like a civil rights warrior, and I love it.
And I don't think there's a side here, honestly.
I love that. Thank you for saying that.
I went to work for the teachers union for reasons that I still believe in. It just was not, the vehicle to get to the issues that I wanted to accomplish. But all the start, I think, behind, like way before the teachers union, and like these stories that they're hard to tell, that you often like don't want to share with the public. And I grew up in Chile. My mom grew up in a farm with 9 sisters.
Wow.
And
10 girls.
10 girls.
Wow.
9 girls.
Oh, okay.
So like all together. Okay. Sorry. So like she had 8 sisters, not 9.
No, that's so cool.
Mad.
No, that's so cool because my mom's one of 9.
Oh, really?
Girls too. So 10 girls. Yeah.
And then they adopted 2 boys.
Oh, really?
So there were 11.
Are you serious?
11.
Wow.
And they were like the old fashioned. I always say like, well, there was no TV in your house. Clearly, how you can have like, but like that's like the like growing up in a farm and everything, like they had to like make their food, and when she got older they sent her to work at the city. So, and when talk about older, she was 9 years old, and they sent her to work
by herself
as a maid.
Wow.
So she was a maid in a house her whole entire life, no schooling, no nothing.
From the age of 9?
From the age of 9.
See, that's just devastating to my whole soul.
Oh yeah, like and like you think bad things happen here, they happen everywhere. So like my mom grew up under, and that's like the untold story, like the story that I was even taught not to tell ever.
Because it was too shameful.
It was too shameful. Like culturally, yes, it's like my mom always, and to protect my mom too, because like after all the hardship, she was able to buy her house. She had me. She was able to do a lot of great things for a person that doesn't know how to read and write.
Yeah.
So like almost impossible. Like my mom used to always tell me, you can be poor, but your house has to look good. Your hair and your nails and all around you has to look good. So like there was a lot of things that my mom always was telling me about. Hey, you can be poor, but that doesn't mean you have to be dirty, not educated, and not try hard enough. So I reflect on that, and then
man, what strength!
She
had so much strength.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. She was a survivor and she was willing to change.
Yes, and she comes from like dysfunction, right? Like her parents were not very functional. They struggle with an alcohol problem.
Yeah.
And they send all the kids have issues now. Like all her siblings, they all like some of them made it. Like my aunt is an inspiration. She's just like me, same strong personality.
You have a strong personality. I love it. I love it.
Just
Go
a
on.
little, right?
Yeah.
But my so I was giving up for adoption around 10.
You were.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
That must have been devastating to you.
I mean, I still saw my mom, like it was like like a formal process in Chile. So they,
But as a 10-year-old version of Valeria,
yes,
you probably can't even go there.
no, not even that. Like nobody explained, like it's different times. So I wasn't explained what was happening. It just happened.
Yeah.
So like I just keep living until I'm like an adult and I'm like, whoa, all this happened. But then I found myself every time, like that story of my mom, of shame, of no education, always haunted me. And I think she passed it like somehow to me.
Yes.
To me, like my mom always felt like she wasn't good enough, like wasn't even like wanted to try. So then I'm born into this and I'm raised by a different family, surrounded by education expectations. And like they were like all engineers and architects and lawyers. All my adopted family were all in politics.
I'm sorry about the lawyers.
Yeah, me too. And, and they were like, so like I never had little expectations for me,
Okay.
which is like different than where my mom came from and where she felt like she couldn't do more and this is all I can do.
Yeah.
And this is it.
Yeah.
And on a sense, I think that shaped me and give me the best of both worlds.
100%. No, I mean, difficulty shapes you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always knew I needed to go to university. It was like rule number one, I have to go to like a university, like first thing I have to do. So I value education so much that I went for 12 years and I got even my PhD.
Wow.
So bachelor's,
Doctor.
master's, and a PhD.
Doctor.
And I reflect on that. And I'm like, why on earth
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Like, I was trying to prove something.
Yeah, no, for sure. No,
sure.
I hear that. And the shame thing's interesting to me because, it's funny you say that because I found out my grandmother just died during COVID. It was hard, but and she was ornery. She was an ornery grandma and sweet, but very difficult to deal with. And I found out after she died that her mother was raised in a brothel.
Oh my gosh.
In Idaho.
Wow.
And the man I'm named after, Samuel Gravitt, he knew about her, and when he saved her from the brothel when she was 14, took her down to the judge in Utah, in Ogden, and said, "We're getting married." And the judge looked at her and said, "I know who you are, I know who your mom is, and I know how old you are.
Wow.
When do we start the wedding?" Like he knew that my grandfather was going to save, or my great-grandfather was going to save. And so the shame affected her. And I think her orneriness was because it's fear, right?
It's fear,
It's fear and pain and
it's
anguish.
fear and pain and anger.
Yeah.
And my mom carried all that. And I think that when I got my bachelor's, I come to the US and I was coming for like a little period of time. I was I wanted to learn English and to go back and, like I was very young. I always wanted to work in ed. I just didn't know how or where, like yet too young for that. So I came to the U.S. and I, with the expectations to be here for like a little time, not long, and then I met my husband around.
Who married you, and you made sure he wasn't going to tell you what to do.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I put all this, like there's a little song we play. I always play when he's telling me what to do.
What's the song?
You don't know me. You don't tell me what to do.
Like you play it on your phone.
So he's
laugh.
He laughed. He's a wonderful human being.
Sounds like he's awesome. Yeah.
We've been married for 15 years now.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And we're gonna be married until we die. And he's instructed that he has to die first.
You're telling him what to do a little bit. That's okay. Good husbands.
Right.
Good husbands recognize that's the path to happiness.
He's amazing. So I think what it shaped, so then I went to, my mom. Like I realized there's a lot of shame in the lack of proper education, one thing. In many times, like lower income families or students, like the only path out of poverty, it is a quality education.
Yes.
Because there's no family with influence, there's no savings in the bank, there's nothing left for like them. So
no, education can change your life.
Completely. Yeah. And it has changed mine, right? I come from that family. I know that I was adopted, like kind of adopted, but like not legally adopted, but because of their example, not like they necessarily were like helping me financially, but they gave me a place to stay. And
That's better than you going and being a nanny,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Like with your mom.
completely.
Yeah.
So I think that because of that, I was able to have that example in my life that I needed to pursue that. And I able to break, like the path that I would have been on if
Yeah.
I would have stayed there. So I always knew that education is key. And then when I come to the US, I feel like I've been living in a bubble. I start working for the teachers union after I got a master's degree.
And why did you choose to work for the teachers?
Because I like what they said about their mission. So like I didn't, first of all, I knew nothing about what a teachers union is. So it mentioned like the association of like teaching professionals. So like in their name wasn't like very clear that they were a political institution, but they talk about their mission. It is to improve the quality of education in public schools and to help teachers to be able to develop and be successful in the classroom. All those are things that I agree with.
Sure.
So
And important missions, right?
Important missions. So I was really excited to go work there. And I worked with them like about 2 years. On my defense, once I found out that they were like not gonna move the needle, or like families weren't involved, or like they were like more in the business of like holding power than really getting the community involved in the teachers and really advocating for the things that I thought that were right. I literally took my name tag off. I didn't even give 2 weeks. I just not the
You
type.
just left.
Well, I left them a nice letter, and I say that I was against the institution.
Yeah.
To make clear,
Yeah.
like I was against the institution and all the things that they do.
Yeah.
But not against the teachers. And I often feel like they're the victims, and like they don't even realize that this institution is in between, allowing them to actually like they advocate for funding every cycle, but the funding barely ever gets to
the
them.
teacher, yeah.
Like, so like they, before like asking, like the public has lost trust completely in, the teachers union, like national. It's not just like at the local level. And I think,
especially when you have certain union leaders standing up and saying, oh, we don't want to give raises to white people. We only want to give raises to certain races, or, when they take positions that are divisive.
I think, to your point, like they are in the business of like doing a lot of things that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
And like, if they were like just in the business of helping like the teaching profession to become stronger, those are things that I agree with.
Sure.
But they are against expanding options for low-income kids in low zip code areas. You have to fight them so hard every single session for them just to like give raises for like teachers, for example, in charter schools that are public schools as well, but there are a type of options. You have to fight them like to give like the opportunity scholarship in my state is a tax credit program. The funding doesn't even come from the same educational budget,
Right.
but they won't expand it.
That's crazy.
They won't expand it because to them it's perceived as competition, and it's just like it's like a quarter, even like maybe like less than a quarter of 1% of the entire like educational budget, and they make a big deal about it when they spend things in nonsense, and they're not held accountable for that, but they're always talking about accountability, and like they're the like part of the reason of why like our kids are not reading at any grade level or like performing well in math.
Well, and we're one of the worst in the nation, right?
I mean, 22%. I was looking at the statistics. 22% of high school students are proficient in math.
That's insane.
That's what it's like showing you. Like this is like statistics from like yesterday.
Well, and if you have 2 years ago, and I haven't seen the most recent, but 2 years ago, we saw a statistic that said that your chance of being able to read at your grade level, if you're African American, is 2%.
Yeah.
Which is just.
So like if you look at the history of the country, right, of segregation, and if you look at the history of like where Hispanics lived, right, and those are like the worst schools, and like a lot of change is needed all around to reform the system, and it takes all of us, the adults, having the conversations, even if we don't agree.
Yes.
So like even the teachers union should come to the table and say, hey, we recognize that we're not doing a great job. And maybe 20% of options would be where we consider healthy in the community, and we're willing to live with that. But it's all about the money for them and holding power.
Yeah.
And like afraid of competing.
Well, that's the real problem, right? And so like when an organization becomes more focused on protecting the organization
Mm-hmm.
than serving the people it was meant to
Correct.
help. That creates the problem. And I think there's so many different examples of that
Mm-hmm.
problem where the system becomes more important than the people.
And that's why we always say, like, the money belongs to the students and not the systems.
Right.
And I think that they are just comfortable and they hold, like, you know, like they pay for the, like, where the people doesn't realize. It's not that this institution, everybody listens to them because they want to listen to them. They are a political institution that pay for the careers of the people that sit in seats to represent us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it becomes a conflict of interest because they literally have all the power to make decisions on what bills pass and what not. And in some cases, they're in bed with both parties. So that's what I say.
Yeah.
When I say it's not a like one versus another, like I think it's naive for the public to think that it's one versus the other. Like
both sides are compromised.
In some places, no, I wouldn't say that happens everywhere. But
Yes.
in some places, yes. So like we saw it in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas, for example, the teachers union had a lot of Republicans that were against the school choice, and the governor was like, "Well, we're gonna get rid of you," and he went and got into the races and got rid of 13 incumbents. That's the hardest thing to do in politics. Once you take that seat, to get it out of you, that seat is very, very difficult. And the governor went and fought those, and that's the things that we have to do. And our public sometimes doesn't know. They just see the headlines.
Sure.
And, they don't have no way to know what really goes on.
Or who has the time to pay attention to all of the noise.
So.
Yeah. That's incredible. So you're a big advocate for school choice.
Yes, but let me tell you something there. I think once I left the union, I went to work at a research center that I need to give more credit to. I love them to pieces.
Okay.
The Nevada Institute for Research and Policy.
Okay.
Sending a hi to my former boss, Amanda Habush.
Yeah.
She is a tremendous advocate of children, and they do child abuse and prevention, and they have a lot of different
Wonderful.
different programming to help kids in CCSE in Clark County School District. And I got the opportunity to go visit the schools. So I was already mad that the teachers union wasn't really the money wasn't getting to the teachers, but when I got to see the classrooms and what our kids were going through, I feel like I had to do something.
Sure.
And I feel like I was blindsided by my own experience. Sure, I live in Henderson in a little tiny house, but in my bubble.
Sure.
And go to visit the schools in the roughest areas of my community. And 40 kids, 45 in some cases, they were rushing them through, and the teachers are not able to keep up with that. And the kids couldn't even eat on time because they get 30 minutes rushing them, and they can't even get their food before.
It's not an educational experience.
It's a awful system.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I cannot believe that this is no wonder why they're not learning. And this is not a learning experience. It's maybe childcare for a couple hours, but
they're just trying to
what values, what learning, what motivates you to come to this?
Yeah.
And
no vision, no purpose.
No.
Yeah.
And there was a professor inside of UNLV, Hispanic professor, and I'm not going to give out his name.
Okay.
He felt like something needed to happen. And he was the one that introduced me to school choice. People might have their stories of how I became an advocate. He said, well, you work for the teachers union, right? And I said, I did. And he said, well, I have a nonprofit and I want to help minority students. But I don't know how to do advocacy or any of those things. I'm a professor, but I look at the research, and it's there are a lot of different opinions, but I think that this policy, that my people might disagree with it, I think would actually help. So we started exploring the idea together, and this is 2015, 10 years ago. And I said, okay, let me see what I think about. And we started working together. It was very behind scenes at the time because I worked at UNLV too.
Sure.
And he was actually afraid that what could happen to his job. And I said, why would you have to even be afraid?
Sure.
And he says it's politics. And I'm like, okay.
Retaliation.
It's
a real problem. Well, it's interesting because that's how the system maintains control, right? Is it punishes people who disagree with the system.
Yes.
But so I do want to talk about that because I absolutely love your passion. And we went to the governor's super education bill, or we were stumping for that. We were we were up in Carson City, and then we came down to Vegas, and we saw you, and you had like 100 people from the Hispanic community there
Yep.
with you, and they were chanting, "We want school choice. We want it now." And I was like, "Yeah." And there was this one lady there who was like, "Hey, I disagree."
It was one.
There was one. Yeah. So I mean, clearly you're representing a pretty large movement.
Well, like they have changed. I think like back in the day, 10 years ago, like there was a lot of opposition for it. But I think that I had like, even with people that like I might disagree, there is a level of respect. So I was talking to actually a member from another union, and he's like the head of this union, and I go in the building, and he looked at me. He says, "You have made me change my perspective on this." And I was like, "I did."
Way to go.
I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I always wonder why you left the union, and I always felt like almost betrayed. But I think I finally understand that lower income kids deserve to have options,
Yes.
and they shouldn't wait." And I was like, "High five, my friend."
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I think that's like we are changing hearts. It's my like movements takes time, and this is, to me, is one of the like civil rights issues of our time.
I agree. And it's interesting because, my wife and I have taken a lot of time to try and do stuff too and move things. And we tried to break up or at least allow cities to opt out of the school district.
Yeah.
And municipalities and such. And we're not necessarily opposed to school choice because we have 5 kids. We want our kids to be able to go places, and all my kids go to different schools.
They all go to different
And
schools.
it's crazy because we have to drive them everywhere, and it's like that's one of the reasons I don't have any hair. It's because one of the reasons.
That explains it.
Yeah. But so we're driving all over the place. One kid's going to this charter school. One kid's going to public school. Most of them stay in the public system. Like we want them to have that experience. But I also worry that it's rare that you find a family that where both parents are engaged in the educational experience of a child, and it's even more rare to find someone who has the resources to do something about it. Right? Most kids don't have parents that are advocating for them. They're kind of just lost adrift in the sea. At least in my experience, maybe not in Hispanic communities.
Like I don't know. Like I think that like people often say that, right? Like yes, sure, you have busy parents.
Sure.
But we're like, at least in my school, for example, like my kid goes to a private school, but we're given an assignment, and if we don't want to be participants of like their life, we're like, they don't want us in that school. And I think like they have set the environment to make sure that we understand that our kids, and they have higher expectations for them, and they have the same expectations for us.
Sure.
So they, like the teacher tells me, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to do all the work. Like,
sure,
this is
you got to be engaged."
Yeah. And I think like this teacher, who is like, all of them have been phenomenal through the education of my child. There are meetings in where she told me exactly what I need to do and what my expectations are.
That's great.
And she's like tough with me, and I think that that's where, I just can say this because I see this a lot in the Hispanic community. Like if you have English as a second language, or you don't have formal education, sometimes if you don't have an outline path on how to help, you just simply don't know how.
Well, you don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to be taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think that's more in some of the cases. Like I'm not saying there are no people that like don't take the time, but what I'm saying, I see more cases in parents like actually want to help their kids than less.
I love that. And that gives me hope. I've also worried that, and this is good because I want you to know that like I respect you and honor you.
Yeah.
And I also question this. I'm like, will school choice help as many kids as it could? Because I do worry about that. I'm like, how many parents busy, working 2 jobs? And I think you see that less in Hispanic cultures, but I think you see it more in other cultures. And it's not just African American or just
in what sense?
In the sense that maybe dad isn't in the picture or mom isn't in the picture at all.
And that's going to help. Like this is what I hear from the kids mostly. So
yeah, tell me. Yeah.
So like, what is when, like my mom, for example, single mom, and like it was the school, like actually the one in charge of helping me. And what I hear a lot in like the kids that have graduated with a scholarship, school choice is beyond the statistics or like beyond the academics or beyond anything else, but to help them with their values, with their like family, and with their like with the sense of like of belonging. So like they come, and I was watching a documentary from like like the Catholic schools, that they've been in the business for over 120 years of educating kids in rough neighborhoods. And what the teachers share, that some kids come, from like they have so much anxiety at home, and they come to school with all that, carrying a lot of having a lot of different needs. And the school is more interested in making sure that the day that they leave their school, they are going to feel capable enough, that they're worth it, that they're good enough, and they have all it takes to be a functional member of society.
They see the need, and then they...
Yes. So for them, it's more about building a human being and that has integrity, that has values, and that has also faith. Faith that things are going to be okay.
And has the ability to go and innovate and create and change
and
the
be
world.
resilient. They teach them to be resilient, and they don't give them, they don't let them go in the mentality of like, poor me, my life is rough. They're like, yes, like you're going through hardship, but we're gonna get through this together. We're gonna develop a plan, and we're gonna divide and conquer. How about that? So I've seen a lot of the kids that tell me that, and I call them kids. They're not kids; they're in their 20s, that they have graduated. But as somebody, I'm in my 40s, and I'm a mom, I look at them and it's like the product of what I believe in and I have say. And it's more than looking at the academics or like how this is going to work. A lot has to do with just a kid being in the environment that allows them to thrive and to flourish and succeed.
I agree. In fact, there's a saying I like to tell my kids, that for authors, for the sake of your characters, make their lives very difficult. Like there's something about difficulty that it creates the soil. It's like the fertilizer for incredible growth, right?
It can be both. I've seen it both. It can go very wrong. Like some people are resilient enough to be able to survive that, right? And that's when you have the right support system around you. And if you have it, you're able to actually find and all it takes, like a lot of research talks about this, all it takes is one person, that a kid that is going through having hardship,
That's it.
One person that is willing to tell that child that everything's going to be okay.
And give them purpose and hope and and perspective. And I've seen those studies too, and it's incredible how much one life can influence another life. And I went to law school at Catholic University of America in DC, and I love how the Catholics focus on the idea of what they call human dignity. It's this idea that every single life has intrinsic value. Every single life is important, and honoring people as people is the best way for us to be able to have a happy and peaceful society. But when we don't do that, every time we treat someone like a number or a dollar sign, or they're just a part of a system, that creates misery, that creates darkness. So what do you do right now, and what have you found in your life that's actually creating that kind of light, where you're treating people? Like what's the best way for you that you found to do that?
Well, there's a lot of things. I'm surrounded by really great people. So like most of the people that believe in a school choice, like particularly like the recipients of a school choice, are kids that come from hardship. So when I see their stories, and I think I don't know, sometimes I just picture myself like I'm this warrior that God put in this place.
Let's go.
I think that, and I wasn't and I'm getting off topic, but
no, it's okay. It's not off topic.
I wasn't really raised, I went to a Catholic school, public school my whole life, but I think I was really mad at God. I was angry at him. I was just like, you give it to me very hard. You could have made,
come on.
I was like, if you existed, where were you? You know, and I think
and that's human. That's human,
that's
right?
human.
So
I was mad for a very long time. So I wasn't joining any church or anything. I had probably I had a lot of faith growing up as a kid, but then there was an age of where teenage years where I didn't believe at all. So then I found myself in the U.S. by myself, and there was no way there wasn't God there, because they were all the people that came had some, and don't get me wrong, I still resist sometimes, and I'm the scholar in me questions everything. But there is clear to me there is something more powerful than myself. That allows me to, nobody wants to do a job that is this hard. Like, I don't fight for a school choice because it's easy. I fight for a school choice because it's the right thing to do in my mind.
That's right.
And I look at these kids, and they, like, I was in the hearing with you in the back, and just watching them testify and the humans that they have become, I was just like, I'm so proud. I want to cry. And the eloquent, like, I was like, I can't testify like that. I was like, oh, like, I was just like, so they like really motivated me. And my son.
Sure.
So like when I became a mother, like there's there's nothing more beautiful than my son and becoming a parent. And I think like me being an example to him and cutting and like barriers or like anything that happened in the past, leaving it there, but also to being an example for him of resiliency, because I want him to understand that I came here with nothing and I made it work, and all I'm building, it is for him to have a beautiful family and be happy. Not for him to give me fancy degrees or titles or money, for him to be happy and have a happy childhood, and like to also be a member that contribute to society.
Yeah.
And I, like, and I think that like motivates me every day, and I feel very grateful like for everything I have accomplished in the US. I came here with $600, Sam.
Wow.
By myself.
Wow.
No English.
Wow.
I spoke 0 words, and the fact that I was able to go to grad school for as long as I went and pay it off and not have any debt.
That's incredible.
Not many people can say that story.
No. And so it sounds like you're saying your son is your why.
My son and the kids, I think that I like the moms, like the moms that I see fighting for their kids, always remind me of my mother.
Sure.
And then now their kids are growing and they are becoming the voices. So like anytime I see when politics is not fair or when things don't go right, I always remind myself that I am not supposed to give up.
No, I'm not supposed to give up. I love that.
So like,
I love that. So let's talk about that for a second. So if your son and others, these children, these mothers, that's your why.
Yeah.
What do you believe about this struggle, and what do you believe about God and how He's involved in that process? Because He's clearly been helping you.
Yeah.
You've seen that.
Yeah.
So what do you believe about how that works?
Well, I think what it like, if you help yourself, like God's supposed to help you. I always believe that.
Yeah, He loves effort, doesn't He?
Yes,
He loves
does
getting
love
up
effort.
and doing stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see it like in all the people that is around me, a lot of people with a lot of light. So like during hardship, I'm not saying that I don't go through it, because I do.
Sure.
But still,
Sure.
right? There's always like people there for me. Every legislative session, that after I get out of that place depleted completely with no energy, wanting to cry, there's always somebody that comes to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. I hope that you're recovering for that very stressful time, or things like that. But to your question, I do believe the struggle makes you more resilient. Sometimes I also believe in like having, like, I don't think that just because you come from a dysfunctional family that will make you resilient. That can also break you.
Sure.
You
need purpose and faith.
Yes,
Yeah.
it can do both things, right? It can either make you stronger and resilient, or it can break you.
Yeah.
And I feel for the people that
get broken.
They get broken, and I'm not saying that I wasn't broken in my teen years. I was like very broken.
Sure.
And I came here.
Yeah.
And I found like I start all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
But
I was
see,
like
but
all new.
But that's beautiful to me, and I believe that God wants to give us everything.
Yeah.
He wants to give us everything, like everything He has. Just like Christ said, where He's like, I'm going to my God and your God and my Father and your Father. And it's like He's preparing us to be able to enjoy that next step. But I also believe that in order for us to get there, only broken hearts can stretch wide enough to really be able to enjoy it and to receive everything. Like, you have to go through the pain.
Yes, you understand more the struggle and appreciate more the struggle. Like I have that gut instinct, they call it, and I'm able to sense good people, bad people,
Yeah.
and I'm able to sense wrong. And for like it's like incredible, like for somebody, honestly, like the story I'm telling you, like to me sometimes feels like surreal. Like my mom couldn't, write and read. I came here with $600 and I slept in my car for 2 weeks because I was like,
Incredible.
I gotta make it.
Yeah.
And I remember walking in the casinos. I didn't have a job. I had a visa. I had a work travel and all that. Like, so don't get too afraid for the people listening to me. But I didn't have like the job they were supposed to give me. Decided to cancel, and I was a student visa. And I remember being like in my 20s, and I'm like, okay, I have to make it. So I have to pay like for like rent and this and all that, and I have to make it. Like the only option it is to make it. And I think if more people would have that mentality, what other option do you have? The other option is quitting.
Yeah.
So you either make it or you don't.
Quit.
And I feel like sometimes people, think that, like I wasn't good enough, so I had to quit.
Yeah.
No, like, so I always told John Mines, it's like, do your best. That's all you can do. That's all you have control over it. And wait to see the results.
Yes.
Wait to see the results.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Okay. So we've covered why, we've covered what you believe and this internal drive that you have. And you're basically a torchbearer. You're going around and saying, this is how we fix these problems. This is how we fix these broken schools and these broken systems, and we make sure that children can have enough time to eat lunch.
Yeah.
Or they can have a recess, right?
Well, or they have like the world is not perfect, like we mentioned, right? Like my mom didn't get any help or support, like emotionally, mentally, or financially, or anything.
Sure.
So there's a lot of that still in this world.
Yeah.
So like they have to be in a functional system when it's not working for them. So like I don't believe that they're trouble kids because they want to be trouble.
No.
And I think society sometimes believe that. They get punished more for, like the bully gets punished more, and they send them another place and they think that's how they're gonna learn. When all the kids just need is love. And I hear that a lot. Like, nobody wants to be bad.
Nobody.
Why would you want to be bad? And when we talk about children, I get very defensive of that because I'm like, no, it's our job to make sure they're okay, that they're happy, and they're not trying to be getting in trouble.
Yes.
So, yeah, I have a lot of empathy for that, like in making sure that we are creating systems around them that are supportive for them. But also, I'm not saying the public schools, like I think like the misconception is like it's one versus another. There is plenty of good in public schools.
I don't know about Nevada.
Well, like I don't know.
I'm teasing you.
But but like I seen a lot of
no, there's a lot of incredible people.
Yeah.
And there's incredible leadership in some ways. And people who care, and people who are trying to treat people like people, and trying to be that one that child needs to become. And I'm teasing because we've sued the school district almost 200 times in the last 18 months. And
tell me why you sue them.
Well, we always do it for kids with special needs, and we don't,
because they're mistreated, right?
Yeah. Because their educational need isn't being met, right? Because the school system is designed to be like this cookie cutter system, and one size fits all for all these kids. But federal law protects children with disabilities, children with ADHD or a learning disability or a physical disability, right?
Yeah.
Can't see, can't hear. We have a girl in the system right now that we've been talking to. She's legally blind. She cannot see, and she hasn't been taught Braille by the school system. And she's in, I think she's a teenager. She's in like 7th
So
or
she
8th grade.
can't read or defend herself.
No. And so you look at that and go, what? Like, who's sticking up for that kid? And it should be the school.
Yeah.
But the school's like, no, just a number. Just shuffle
Just
along.
pass them.
Yeah.
And that's the other piece that they do. They continue lowering the expectation just to meet the test results.
Yeah.
So like we're like focusing, and I so don't like that because each kid learns in a different way. Like my kid, for example, is hyperactive. So he's like the wiggly guy.
Yeah.
He just wiggles, and that's how
He wants to go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's always like, let's go. Like, let's go. Like, and the previous school he was at, he was always like in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, not right school.
No, that system should not be more important than him.
No.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, bye. So, but I can't afford to do that.
Sure.
So like I was able to move him to a different one. He's very happy now. And it's 45 minutes per subject in this school. So they have 45 minutes of math, 45 minutes of English, 45 minutes of robotics, 45 minutes of AI, 45 minutes of swimming, 45 minutes of acting, 45 minutes of like leadership. So my child at 7 years old is advanced like 3 grade levels in math and reading and already presenting research projects.
Wow!
In front of the classroom.
See, that's incredible to me, and I think it's evidence of the fact that the system is actually meant to hold kids back and
yes, it is
help them become.
And he has, English as a second language. I can't hide my accent.
It's a beautiful accent. Don't hide it.
But I told the school, I was like, "Hey, he is gonna sound like me. Who do you think he does the reading with at nighttime?" And they were like, "Oh." Yeah, but they accommodate to our needs and not the other way around. Yes. So they were like, well, if you value him learning Spanish, we're going to start teaching him more. And he's going to get involved in the clubs and in this.
That's great.
And they do all that with him. So I
so
just,
he doesn't lose that heritage.
No, and the reason that he wants to learn, and I think that's where we fail so much in the system, is pushing them to meet the score, but not pushing them to be curious about learning, which is, you never stop when you love learning, and you're going to teach yourself anything you want to.
Anything, especially in today's time when AI can teach anything.
Yes.
Right? And so what do you think about that? Have you looked at and thought about how technology is transforming everything around us? Yeah.
Well, I have a great experience with this actually. So so I have a PhD that is like 400 pages.
Great. That's awesome.
Research.
Yeah.
With no AI.
Yeah. You're like, I know how to do it right.
No, it's not just that.
You actually did it.
No. I finished my PhD. I used Grammarly, but I didn't use it like the old version of Grammarly. No, the one with AI. Like, just look at your grammar and move on. But I do believe it can be a supplemental tool. And we have a lot of kids here that have, they're English language learners. And there's a lot that we haven't learned about the brain and the development of the brain, and how it helps you clean, and it helps you with the writing process more than anything else. And we understand very little about brains and how brains worked. And I think it's transformational if you know how to use it in the right way. Totally. Not to cheat, but to use it in the right way. You can do anything. I'm designing my house with AI right now. I put a photo and I said, show me how would it look like. It's you can do anything you want, and how it actually helps your language development if it's used correctly.
Yes.
And it will shorten the time. I feel bad for the editors and the journalists, and they're going to have to go through all this process and unfortunately
learn something new because the AI is doing it all. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So AI is not they cannot do it all. At a certain point it looks like AI. But you can use it as a complement. And I think if you use it as a complement, we're going to be able to get that job done faster. And it will help a lot of English language learners that might feel like they're less polished in the work environment, to be able to have this tool now to clean up and sound more professional and be able to do a lot of research papers or presentations.
Yeah, it totally enhances the experience for people, for sure.
It's incredible that we have that.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I wonder how it's going to change the education system, because right now the number one complaint is a teacher, too many students, right? 50 kids in a class, whatever. And there's not that one-on-one interaction. But if instead you could have AI teaching the child with the supervision of an adult, to me that seems like a better way to go, right?
And think about people with ADHD, what it's going to do for them. It's going to absolutely help them with their thinking process. Yeah. And I don't even think that we understand.
No.
Sometimes we don't understand some of the disabilities that we call disabilities are actually a brain that works differently. Sure. I always, most of the most brilliant people in this world have some sort of learning disability or learning gift. Yeah. And we are just so behind in understanding this. So I found them gifted actually, this incredible brains that are able to create art and things and think differently and think through a different light.
And it's better. We need it.
Yeah. So I think AI will help people that has have not met the cookie cutter. So I just don't think that I don't believe in anybody cannot learn. I think that everybody can learn. And I think that everybody can learn just in,
That's it.
yeah, everybody can learn. It just need the right tool, the support system, and now we have AI
Yeah.
on top of it.
Yeah, the famous saying, you can't say I'm just bad at math. It's more that you just need a better teacher at math, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the universal language, stuff like that. I love that. Okay, so you were recently in DC lobbying for school choice, and so what do you think the future of national educational landscape looks like?
I think we're like in a moment in history that we never seen before.
Yeah.
So
Tell me about that.
I'm like just beyond excited. I mean, I've been advocating for this for 10 years, over 10 years now. And I think that we're very close to get a school choice passed in every single state as a form of a tax credit.
Oh,
So it's like the program that we have in Nevada, the Opportunity Scholarship is a tax credit. So we could have a very large one now that would bring, for example, to the states that don't have any sort of a school choice program, they would bring a form of a school choice. So in Nevada, it could end up being 10,000 scholarships. And right now we have a program that it is 1,600 students, very, very
small.
very, very small. So this could like help us where we have a lot of, like the union had been very resistant. And the reason why we don't have, a more significant school choice program here, it is because they're against it. But if like in the reconciliation package, like a proposal for a school choice is included, if there was this to happen, we could get thousands of kids to get a school choice in this state, in other states that don't have. There is states that don't even have charter schools, like Nebraska is one of them. Very hard to think that there are some places where like we don't have options. When you're looking at states like Texas, we anticipate that hundreds of thousands of kids are going to get the scholarships there.
And so would the tax credit give you the ability to, so if I'm a parent, I'm like, I don't want my kid to go here, I want them to go somewhere else. I would just basically say, hey, I had to spend this money, and so that on taking them to that school, and that would go
No,
against my
so let
taxes.
me explain you
Yeah.
how it works. So it's called like you form a nonprofit organization, an SGO, serving granting organization or scholarship granting organization. And what this organization does, they go on fundraise. So like the money is not automatically added there. Like what it does is like they can fundraise in exchange of tax credit. So it would be depending on where they include what tax credit against what tax credit, and that will vary depending
Sure.
of the state.
Sure.
And what it does, it gives a certain amount of funding. It's usually like the per people funding per the state, like 90% of the, and that, or they can set an amount, which is a good question. I don't know the exact amount
Sure.
and what is the exact amount per state, but it will give essentially a scholarship to a kid to go to a school that it is registered with the department, like that they have all the accreditation to provide an education in the state. So like right now, like we have like almost 100 private schools that are registered with the Department of Education,
Yeah.
and they allow the kids to use this scholarship in those schools. So it would work very similarly like that. So like the kids that go like that use the opportunity scholarship, for example, they go to the Department of Education, they get to see the list of all the schools that take their scholarship, they apply to the scholarship through the organization. So they just fill out an application to make sure that they qualify. And in this state, it's like 300% of the federal poverty line. Actually, how it's rating in the bill currently is 300% of the median income. So more medium class families could have access. So it's actually a little bit better than what we have right now, because the one that we have is for very, very low income families. So there's families that are still low income, but they don't qualify because of the threshold. So it would expand that a little bit more, and it would give 10,000 scholarships to kids. So
got it.
if
Or fundraise through.
yeah, so it's a super exciting time, and there's a lot of support. So I was in a press conference with several senators that were present there. Among them, the ones that like they were speaking, like Ted Cruz was mentioning, like this is a very exciting moment for America, and he is a strong school choice supporter. But there was Owens, Cassidy, and many others that were there talking about the support for school choice.
That's awesome. And so basically, I think it's an opportunity, it sounds like, to allow people to choose where they want to go to school and get rid of that captured student.
Yeah, and it's not like they wouldn't lose funding. A lot of the people are going to take, and they're going to be saying that the public schools lose funding. This is separate
Yeah, that's
It's a
smart.
separate thing. So
Yeah.
like they will still be getting,
Less threatening.
yes. So like it's a separate account and it's a tax credit. So they're different budgets.
Yeah.
A lot will be saying in the news, which is not true. Like I just want the public to understand that it's not one versus another. It's just for kids that want to have access to this because they're not thriving where
No,
they're
that
at.
makes sense. That makes sense. So you've done a lot in the last decade. You've moved a lot of things, and it's almost kind of like you're standing up against this mountain, pushing against it, right?
Yeah.
Pushing, 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 pushing. And then you come back and maybe your muscles are bigger, but the mountain hasn't moved yet.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the mountain's starting to move?
Well, like I think a lot has changed. So if you look nationally, so like maybe if you look at the macro, like if you look at the macro level, right, you might feel like, hey, we have not accomplished much if we just look at Nevada. But hey, we have like defended the 1,600 kids for 8 years, right? And I think we have done a lot of things around it that have, like, we have a governor that talks about how he supports school choice
Sure.
every other day.
Sure.
He
Yeah, I
is
think you get a lot of credit for that.
in the public, like in the public eye, every single day saying how he supports it. And because of his efforts, now we are going to have open enrollment. We're going to have more funding for charter school teachers. Charter school teachers and charter schools always have to do more with less.
Yeah, for sure.
For a long time. And I think a lot has to do with like maybe in my state, some form of a school choice have become more acceptable. And like when I started, nothing was acceptable.
Sure.
So, but if you look at the national level, like universal programs were inexistent like 2 years ago. Now we have 17. 17. So like to think, yes, we have accomplished a lot. And there's a national movement.
It's changing.
It's completely changing. And I think what you're going to see is that like now we are like in 31, 32 states. It's going to come 50 rapidly.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool. Well, it's been an honor to be with you. And I love that you have this faith that fuels your vision and your purpose. And I can see the muscles as you're moving the mountain. So keep it up. And one of the things that we do is we love finding people who generate light by treating other people like people and really advocating for those who are in need. We'll give you a blue one and a pink one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But we give these to the kids with special needs because we're like, hey, this is your chance to turn darkness into light, right? And I also believe that you have light inside you. And when you radiate that light, it actually turns you into like a human lightsaber. Like you chase the darkness away, right? And
it's like
hey,
what I told you, like it feels like I became this warrior for like a,
yes,
it's like a transformation.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we give out these, and it's just little IEP defenders and Lex Technica lightsabers.
Cool.
So that's for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a human lightsaber, and we're so delighted that you came and talked with us.
Same. Thanks for the same. Thanks for what you're doing too.
Yeah.